Good afternoon, everyone. Seguin Township Committee of Adjustment meeting will commence momentarily. Before we begin today's meeting, Seguin Township acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Huron-Robinson Treaty Area. We recognize and respect the long history of First Nations and Métis peoples on this land, and that this region continues to be home to many thriving First Nations communities that have lived on Turtle Island for time immemorial. Seguin Township is committed to ongoing learning, responsible stewardship of our planet, and building relationships to help create a better future for generations to come. I require a mover and seconder to convene as Committee of Adjustment for August the 13th. Moved by Greg, seconded by Lee. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby convenes at 4:01 p.m. on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. All in favor? And carried. The Committee of Adjustment hereby convenes a public meeting as per the Planning Act. Applicants and the public can speak at the public meeting. When asked who wishes to speak to an application, please raise your hand, state your name and address, and direct all comments through me. Notice of the decisions will be sent to applicants and to the public if requested. Only the prescribed persons as per the Planning Act may appeal a decision or condition of approval within 20 days of the decision. Folks joining by Zoom, please keep your microphone settings on mute unless you are asked to address the committee or are addressing the committee. And also a reminder that committee does have all the correspondence and application information. So if you do wish to address the committee, please keep it specific if you wish to clarify something. So mover and seconder, please, to accept the agenda for today's meeting. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lee. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves the agenda for the August 13th, 2025 hearing. All in favor? And carried. And moving on to accept the minutes, a mover and seconder, please, for a resolution to accept the minutes of the previous committee meeting. Moved by Lee, seconded by Greg. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read and circulated the minutes of its last hearing that took place on Wednesday, July the 9th, 2025. All in favor? And carried. I now asked the Committee of Adjustment for disclosure of any pecuniary interest with respect to today's applications. Any conflicts to declare? None heard. So we will move into hearing the applications. I will ask the Secretary Treasurer to introduce our first application for today's meeting.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2025-0023H for Dunn is to permit a detached garage and sauna, requiring variances for a maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline, and building height of an accessory structure. No formal correspondence was received.
Thank you. Do we have anyone in attendance that wishes to address the committee?
I'm here for my own minor variance.
I'm sorry, okay, we're not quite to you yet. Yeah, you're second in line, so after this one. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay, sorry, so back to the Dunn application. Anyone wishing to address the committee? Yes, sir, go ahead, please.
Are you looking at me?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't realize.
Your hand was up.
Yes, it was. Sorry. Good afternoon, committee, and through you, Chair. My name is Ryan Lloyd, planner with Planscape, 104 Kimberley Avenue, Bracebridge, Ontario, P1L1Z8. I'm here acting as agent for Mr. and Ms. Dunn of 363 Burgess Road. So thank you for the opportunity, and thanks to planning staff for their help through the process, for their staff report and supportive recommendation. If approved, the variances will allow the construction of a sauna and a detached garage. The proposed sauna will meet the required zoning provision, but adds to an increase in lot coverage. As shown in the staff report and our planning justification report, the sauna will be located within the shoreline area on a relatively flat and open space. No trees will need to be removed, and no site alteration is required. The strategic location, being halfway between the boathouse and cottage, benefits from the thick coniferous trees buffered and generally unseen from the lake. The second structure, the modest-sized detached garage of 68 square meters, will also contribute to an increased lot coverage and require a variance in height for the lake-facing side of the garage. The garage will be located in an existing open parking area where minimal tree removal is required. The design of the garage is unique, with the main portion of the garage to be built with a typical foundation. This portion fronts the driveway and road, meeting the required 4.5 meter height of the zoning requirements. A second portion of the garage is designed in relation to the on-site features of steep slopes and rock outcropping. This portion will be built with footings and the use of pillars. As per the zoning provisions, height is to be measured on the lake-facing side and therefore is subject to today's minor variance. Just to clarify, the actual garage structure is not a proposed 6.5 meters height, but because of the elevation change, the measurement is 6.5 meters. The design of the garage is intended to match that of the cottage dwelling, blending into the existing structure. So when viewing from the lake, the garage will be substantially buffered and behind the cottage. Views from the south or the southeast will be visibly buffered from existing vegetation. And then just lastly, the property's steep slopes. Because of this, existing and proposed stairs and landings are included in lot coverage based on zoning policy. I agree with staff's report today, and happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Over to committee. Any questions for the applicant? Wib, go ahead, please.
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chair. I was on site and everything makes sense.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, very good. We'll ask for a mover and seconder, please, to bring this to decision. Moved by Lee, seconded by Greg. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2025-0023-H for Dunn to permit a detached garage and a sauna, and requests the following variances to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Under section 6.3, table 6.3, maximum lot coverage permitted is 6.9%, proposed is 8.51% for a variance of 1.61%. Under section 6.3, table 6.3 again, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shore, 6.9% permitted, 8.58% proposed for a 1.68% variance. And section 4.1.4, maximum building height, accessory structures, garage, 4.5 meters permitted, proposed is 6.5 meters for a variance of 2 meters. Subject to the following conditions. The extent of the variances will generally conform to that shown on the submitted plans attached to the appendix of the decision. Number 2, that the owners complete an amendment to their existing site plan agreement prior to the issuance of a building permit pursuant to section 41 of the Planning Act. And number 3, that the owners apply for and obtain the required permits to construct the garage and sauna within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? And carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay, next application, please, Madam Secretary.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2025-0024H for JT Risty is to permit a 13.3 square meter addition to the existing dwelling, requiring variances for a maximum lot coverage within 60 meters and a reduced interior side yard setback. Formal correspondence in objection was received from neighbor Richard Stahl.
Okay, thank you. Do you wish to address the committee, sir?
Yes, please, if I may.
Hang on a moment. We're talking, sorry, Mr. Risty, is it? Rob Kelly, sorry. If you could step to the mic, please, and push the button so that the Zoom folks can hear you.
How's that?
Go ahead, please.
I did respond yesterday. I would like to just point out a couple of key points. Our cottage was built in 2008, was expanded. The Stalls bought their property in 2012. At the time, in 2012, our cottage was fully erected. There was a wood shed between the properties. And the Stalls never complained about that. They then took down most of the woods between the two properties and leveled the property and really encroached into our space, but that's their right. It's on their lot. But I find it interesting that they're now complaining about a lack of privacy when it was them that moved closer to us. And we have always had the use of a wood structure. I took it down when they built their addition. I thought I had the right to replace it for our use, which we've had for 21 years. And we have made it as unobtrusive as possible. It's painted exactly the same color of the cottage. And I would like to think that when we asked for relief from the 5-meter side lot, it is relief that you can give. Otherwise, I think you would have said, no, there's no point, just can't be done. So this really comes back to a privacy issue that the Stalls are complaining about. And I think that there's a resolution to the situation. I think that we would be inconvenienced not having our right to have a woodshed. We're there much more of the year than they are. And in the objection, I noted that Mr. Stall recommended that if it was approved, that there be no windows. That's not a problem. There was only one door entrance. He requested that it have a door entrance either north or south. I can change it so the access is north. And basically it's a wall. It's a green wall, exact color of our cottage. The area is heavily forested, so it's in shade all the time. Our kids and grandkids never play there because there's mosquitoes. I have never seen the Stalls on their side of the berm that they put in. And sure, they could see that small addition, but hey, they can see the cottage. It's right there. They built right beside us, but there's still 40 feet between. So I think that this is his view of privacy, and I happen to disagree that it's impacting them on their privacy.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kelly. Just stay put for one moment. Any questions for Mr. Kelly? Lee?
Yes.
Does that extend? I'm looking at a picture of it right here, and we're looking at the Stall cottage up the hill.
Yeah.
Does that berm go down to the lake?
Doesn't go quite to the lake, but goes past any part of where we have our cottage. So the berm fully covers the length of the cottage. And then further north, they built a large mound to house their septic. So, you know, if you walk out there, sure, you can look through a window and see a little bit of green, but
This berm is significantly treed. it looks like.
Yeah, the berm's about
Conifer.
4 or 5 feet high. It's about 8 or 10 feet high. Trees growing on it. There's trees growing down on it.
They seem-
Every year, the trees are going to get bigger.
they
But if
seem to-
privacy was such an issue, why'd they take all the trees down?
Okay, anything else for Mr. Kelly? Okay, oh, Wib, Mike, please.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I've always had a problem with encroaching on neighbors and that sort of thing. And so it's hard for me to agree that this is a good idea for that very reason. It's just a question to you. What made you think you had the right to build that?
First of all, I thought I was replacing the woodshed that was there. Second of all, I thought that if you were under 10 square meters, you didn't need a building permit. When I first saw the building inspector come down, I said, oh, don't worry, it's under 10 square meters. He advised me that no, because we were already over our building space limit, that we did indeed have to approve. So I stopped doing any work on it, and I then fulfilled the requirement to apply for a minor variance. I moved the woodshed that was there 3.5 meters closer to the house. I made it as unobtrusive as I possibly could. I think that we're entitled to have a woodshed. We live there a lot of the year and go through a lot of wood. And I don't think that it really impacts them. Their whole focus is out towards the lake. This is to the side. And there's a lot of tree already still there. And what he put in is going to go further. So I said, fine. In my response, if you would like us to put a couple of trees in front of the structure, I'll do that. I'll move the window. Like, I don't have a window, I have a door, but I can move that around the corner. And so imagine you build a fence, which I would be entitled to do. I could build a 5-foot fence. One might argue that would give you privacy, but they're higher than us. So looking down on a 5-foot fence isn't going to solve the problem. I like to think we have a very beautiful cottage, very nicely landscaped. That's what we would do to the side of it. We don't use the side other than to go to wood, pick up wood during the wintertime, and they're never there in the wintertime.
Okay,
Thank you.
Anything else for Mr. Kelly? Thank you, sir. If you could just tap your mic off, please. Anyone else wishing to address committee on this application?
I would like to, if I may,
If you could identify yourself, please.
of course. My name is Richard Stahl. I'm the property immediately adjacent to the applicant.
Yes, sir. What are your comments?
Okay, well, good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to make some comments. I owned my property since 2012, and I'm here today to strongly oppose the application, which seeks to reduce the side yard setback on the side bordering my land. When I built my own recent addition, I went through every required municipal process. I met every bylaw requirement and respected the setback rules. I believe my neighbors should be held to exactly the same standards. Under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act, a minor variance can only be approved if it passes all 4 tests. Minor in nature, desirable for appropriate land use or development, maintains the intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, maintains the intent and purpose of the official plan. This application fails on all 4 counts. I mean, I have specific concerns, which I'd like to share with you.
Yeah, if you could if you could get to those, please, and just be specific as you can.
Okay. Well, the addition that was built in 2023 has already led to repeated unauthorized entry onto my property by the applicant's heavy equipment, which I think is a serious liability concern and disrupts my quiet enjoyment of my land. They use this side, the side towards my cottage, for shore yard access and patio installation. And there are mature trees right at that corner that make access difficult for them to get their equipment around. So they're now forced to go around onto my property in order to access the shore yard. And I think it also puts the vegetation on both sides at risk.
Mr. Stahl, just to ask a question here, we're not
Yep.
really discussing access. We're really discussing the variance for the addition. So that's kind of a different matter. If you have something specifically about the addition, if you could bring that forward.
Well, I was assuming that the addition, which is what I'm referring to, which was built, as I say, 2 years ago, does cause a barrier, that it does prevent the applicant from having access to the lake on that side with using heavy equipment without going across my land. So I was referring to the addition simply that it does create a situation where they can't access the shore yard without going onto my land. So that was why I brought the access issue up. It's a direct result of the addition, the blockage. And the healthy buffer of trees, that buffer is on my land, was planted intentionally for privacy and environmental protection. And on the subject property, there are these mature trees, but there's no understory at all and no evidence that the addition didn't damage these tree roots. The reduced setback puts the addition directly in my sight line from 4 rooms in my cottage, exactly the type of intrusion that setbacks are meant to prevent. I understand that the addition may be used as a children's bedroom, yet there's no mention of this in the staff report. And as was mentioned, there was a door and appeared to be perhaps windows facing my property, which increases both noise and privacy impacts. The staff report was silent about the issue of septic or wastewater management, and with an extra bedroom, there's no confirmation the septic system is adequate, which also raises environmental and compliance concerns. So I respectfully ask the committee to deny this variance. It fails the 4-part test under the Planning Act, undermines the intent of the zoning bylaw, and threatens property rights, privacy, and environmental safeguards. If the committee still chooses to approve it, I request 2 minimum conditions under Section 45(9) of the Planning Act. One, that plants are maintained year-round, vegetation within the 3-meter setback to create a permanent visual and noise buffer, and the relocation of any doors and windows so they face the north or south sides, not my property. Thank you for your attention and for giving serious consideration to these concerns.
Okay, thank you for your comments. And just to perhaps update the information you have, it is in fact not to be used as a bedroom. It's wood storage and partly an indoor closet. So that is the accurate information at this time. But thank you for your comments. Committee, any rebuttal? Yes, Lee.
Looking at Mr. Kelly, thank you, and Mr. Stahl's replies, Mr. Stahl spoke of what he would be willing to do, and Mr. Kelly is with regards to putting vegetation in, moving the access door. He's willing to do the things that Mr. Stahl requested. I think by adding some conditions in, we could perhaps carry through with this.
Committee members, any thoughts on that? Wib?
I would agree that it'd make it a lot more appealing to me, but good call.
Okay, any more comments? Otherwise, we'll bring it for a vote and there can be an amendment made at that time if there's a motion that is carried for making an amendment. So process is we bring them application forward with mover and seconder, and then then we have to file a second motion to amend it. So I will bring it forward, mover and seconder. Moved by Lee, seconded by Greg. So I'll read the resolution as it stands. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2025-0024-H J.T. Risty to permit a 13.3 square meter addition to the existing dwelling and requests the following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Under bylaw section 6.3, table 6.2, lot coverage within 60 meters of the shore, permitted is 8%, proposed is 9.29%. For a variance of 1.29%, section 6.3, table 6.2, interior side yard setback, 5 meters permitted, proposed is 3. For a variance of 2 meters, the existing conditions are: number one, that the extent of the variances will generally conform to that shown on the submitted plans attached to the appendix of the decision. And number two, that the owner applies for and obtains the required building permit or required permit rather to construct the addition within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. We can, at this point, ask for a motion to amend this application. So if we have a mover and seconder to do that, so we have a mover is Wib and second Lee. That we vote to amend this motion to include additional conditions. We have a condition for vegetation. So the potential is that the owner execute an agreement with the municipality pursuant to section 45 of the Planning Act, and that this agreement is to be registered on title to require the submittal of a vegetation plan. Anything else you want to add?
That sounds pretty good, Mr. Chair.
Okay, then we will vote on that additional condition to be added. So moved and seconded we have. And those in favor of the amendment? So the amendment is carried. And then we will ask for vote on the entire motion with the amendment. So those in favor of the amended motion? That is an option. Okay. So condition number 4 would be that the access door be relocated to the north side. Is that what we had said? Okay. And the window? No windows. Okay. So we're happy just with, yes, Mr. Kelly.
Lighting, so it would not be seen by the stalls. That wall would be blank,
Okay. So,
like a portal.
so not really something we need to add in, I think, is it? No. Okay. Are we happy with this one? So voting now on the amended motion, including the vegetation and access door relocation, all in favor? And the amended motion is carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Okay, Madam Secretary, application number 3, please.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2025-0025M for Wilson is to permit a 1.5-story detached garage requiring variances for maximum lot coverage within 60 meters, maximum lot coverage for an accessory structure, and maximum building height of an accessory structure. Formal correspondence in support of the application was received from Patricia Fogarty and Mary Jane Woodyat.
Okay, thank you. Anyone from the Wilson application wishing to address the committee?
Hi, yes, my name is Evan Westerby from Westerby Custom Designs. I am acting as the agent and representative for Eric Wilson in the application for this minor variance.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anything you want to clarify or standing by for questions?
The only thing that I would like to clarify is a matter that has come up twice now during this application. One during the initial application process as I was submitting the documents, and it was brought up the existing shed structure near the water, which was requested to be moved back from the waterfront 20 meters to comply with current zoning bylaws. It is my understanding that that structure has been there for some time, definitely before the current owner has owned the property, and as such should comply or should fall under the legal non-conforming use under the Ontario Planning Act, Section 34(9), as a legal non-conforming structure, having been there from prior to the current homeowner. That was brought up to the planning official that I was dealing with at the time, and it seemed to have been accepted. And then about a week ago, before this meeting, it was brought up again, and the city or the township once again seemed to have a conflict with that. I understand that the reasoning behind wanting to move the shed structure back from the waterfront is with the intent of maintaining the shoreline and maintain the aesthetic of the area. However, to move the shed as the township is proposing would require the removal of up to 6 large trees that are currently existing on the property to relocate it to the locations the township has proposed. It's with that in mind, and with the additional fact that we have the neighbors surrounding Mr. Wilson providing their support in writing, as you mentioned, for maintaining this shed structure in place, that we would like to ask the committee to allow us to maintain that existing shed structure in place, as well as grant the minor variance for the garage.
Okay, thank you, sir. I will send this over to Mr. Taylor Elgie for comment, please.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, we're not sure from the information we have available today whether or not that existing waterfront, I believe it's a bunkie today, but it'll be converted into a shed, is legal non-complying. Yeah, we did a file search. We could find no evidence of it being there historically. When we reviewed the old Christie bylaw that was in effect in 1983, it actually had a provision that says that accessory structure should be behind the front wall of the main building. So that would have been the rule dating back to 1983. So in order for it to be legal non-complying, it would have either had to predate the 1983 bylaw or receive some type of permission. And we just don't know whether it's legal non-complying or not. So the staff report was crafted in a way which addresses the issue at hand and would legalize it essentially.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. Committee members, what do you think? Greg, please.
Well, I guess my question is then, should this be deferred so that Mr. Westerby can have further discussions with staff in regards to this. I mean, we have a report that is based on come from staff based on the current information. And we're being asked to reconsider and really completely change this application, you know, a half hour into a committee meeting. I think that either has to be clarification on the staff report or we vote on it as it stands now. But I think that I don't think that we're in a position to be making an amendment to a staff report based on what is before us now.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Anyone else? What do you?
I would just also, apologies. I would just also like to once again reiterate the fact to move this shed structure as is being proposed. It would require the removal of the 5 to 6 large trees that are currently on the property, which would have a negative impact to the shoreline area in that area. And I know we're very all conscious of the shoreline protection.
Would you entertain a deferral to dig a little deeper, or what is your preference?
What would be the deferral date? Is that next month?
I do not know. Apparently, yes. Likely. I guess it depends to some degree on the number of applications and what, you know, whether you reach or find the information you need by then or come to a different arrangement with the planning department.
I do believe my client, Mr. Wilson, is on this call. If he is able, I would like to ask for his input on this deferral as well, because I know he is working with a construction schedule. Eric, are you on this call?
Yes, I am. And I guess the other comment that I would have about relocating that structure, if it was just as simple as pulling it back on level ground, I don't think that there would be an issue in doing that. But right behind that structure, there's about a 5-foot high granite wall of rock stopping us from moving it. So the entire building would have to get taken apart, relocated. There's a fairly extensive amount of earthwork that would have to be done with rock in the area and trees that would have to come down. So it's not as simple as just moving the shed. I don't know if that helps in the decision-making process, but the ability to be able to move it. And I guess further to that, we were able to get letters from the neighbors in regard to that structure where it is, just indicating that it's been there long before we purchased the property. I don't know the exact age, but they don't have an issue with it. But if the only path forward is to delay, then I guess I don't know what the other option is that we have.
So the planning department can back me up here, but you know, the option is we consider the resolution as it is, including the, you know, changing the guest cabin to a storage shed and moving it, or which means it may or may not be carried, or you defer and see if you can come to another arrangement on that condition.
I guess we have to defer then, just because I don't see how we move it.
Okay.
Is there a time, or is there any ability to have a new meeting before the next month variance hearing?
With the planning department?
Yes.
Yeah, so with planning staff, yes.
Okay. And that will allow us to possibly get this approved at a later date.
Well, I guess it hinges on this condition. You know, if you're, you know, if this is a problem that you can find another solution to, then that would be the reason for the deferral, that you can talk to planning staff and either change the condition or, you know, take it away.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay, so we will move then to defer this to next meeting, giving you the opportunity to discuss that condition.
Thank you.
Okay. Just give me a moment. I will draft this. PL. Okay, so I will read this shortly before we move ahead with it. So I'm saying we will defer application PL-2025-081 to allow applicant to revisit condition regarding moving the shed beyond the 20-meter shoreline limit. So if that's acceptable, then I will ask for a mover and seconder to bring that forward. Moved by Greg, seconded by Lee. That we defer application PL 2025-081 to allow the applicant to revisit the condition regarding moving the shed beyond the 20-meter shoreline limit. All in favor? And carried.
And the application has been deferred. Please reach out to planning staff within the next month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, folks. All right, Melissa, application number 4, please.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2025-0026M for Roos is to permit the conversion of an existing dwelling into an oversized guest cabin, requiring variances for a reduced front yard setback and an increase in floor area of a guest cabin. Correspondence in support of the application was received from Chuck and Eleanor Glider and Frank and Ann Lagrada and Terry and Janet Fellner.
Thank you. Anyone in attendance wishing to address committee for this application?
Yep. Hi, Evan Westerby again here. I'm also representing Jim Rouse in this variance application.
Okay.
I would also like to confirm several photos were sent to the committee this morning around 8 a.m. Showing the view of the property from the lake. Can I just confirm if those photos have been received by council?
They have been received.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much.
Anything else?
Yes, sorry. So I understand the council is recommending the refusal of this application, and they have cited 4 key points in relation to that. I would like to address a couple of those points. Point B, is the application desirable for the application of land development? And the committee's response was no, the application is not desirable for an appropriate land development. When looking at those photos provided this morning, it shows that once the demolition has taken place, the remaining guest cabin will be all but non-visible from the lake. In addition to that, with the supporting letters from the surrounding neighbors, I believe that matter can be considered addressed. The other application, or the other question, sorry, is of the question if the variance falls under the classification of minor. And I understand that that is also responded to as a no. I'm just curious as to why the township does not consider this a minor variance with consideration of the shoreline setback and coverage for the guest cabin.
Okay, I'll ask Mr. Greg, if you want to respond, please.
No, I was just going to say that's a question that I think should be asked between you and staff. I don't think that is to be debated by us as a committee of adjustment. Those are discussions for you to have with staff, not at committee. Thank you.
Understood. So I understand that one of the main concerns, however, with the application is the oversized guest cabin. Our proposal of 74 meters squared for the guest cabin, when the maximum size allowable, including decks, for a guest cabin is 60 square meters. We have an alternate proposal where we remove another portion of the existing structure and bring the total size down to 50 square meters, or 50.06 square meters, which would be less than the zoning bylaw permits, which would mean that the only item that the variance would need to consider would be the shoreline setback, which again, we have the support of 3 surrounding neighbors, and the photos showing that you can't really even see the what would remain as the guest cabin from the lakeside, which would maintain the aesthetic of the shoreline as well. Is that something that the council would be permissible to?
So again, I think go ahead, Greg.
So and I'm not looking to pile on the next meeting that we're going to have, but I think that's a completely different application than what we have presented here. And it's, we have an application before us. If you're looking to amend that with staff, then that is something I'm going to suggest that you may want to again request a deferral, because we will base it upon the staff, our decisions upon the staff report and our attendance based on the application. That's really a completely different application that's being proposed.
Yeah, and I mean, I have to say I have a problem with the logic sequence here as well, since that building is really not even supposed to be there. There was a condition already imposed, I believe, with the building permit that it be demolished, but now we are looking to change something that's already not really, it's not legal. It's not even legal non-conforming. So that is a problem for me. Anything else?
No, yeah, sorry, apologies.
Committee comments, anyone else? Or Taylor, do you have anything to add? No. Wib, go ahead, please.
I agree with you, Mr. Chair.
Greg.
Without a request for deferral, I think we should vote on it.
Could we request for the deferral?
You can. What would be the specific purpose for the deferral?
To reduce the coverage of the guest cabin to under the 60 meters squared maximum, and just to consider the shoreline setback.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead, please, Greg.
Do we even have to make any amendments to it? It's a deferral of the application. I don't think that we have to put a motion on other in regards to any amendments to it. Those are discussions that should take place between the applicant and planning staff. I think we are just, if the applicant is requesting a deferral for his opportunity to discuss whatever specifics with planning staff, then we can either accept or deny that deferral request. But the specifics of what is being deferred, we're just deferring this application.
I can agree to that. We'll just defer it to whatever changes you agree to with planning staff. So with that, I'll go ahead and draft this. So you're agreeing to deferral? Mr. Westerby?
Yes.
Great, go ahead.
The only question I have is if we have something that has already been addressed and there was a demolition permit issued for it, if there's already been decisions made on it by staff, should we really be deferring it at all? If the application as it stands, we have something that has been deemed by staff to not be legal. As you mentioned, Mr. Chair, should have been demolished as part of the previous process. I'll defer to Taylor, not to put you on the spot, but I think that if the applicant then wanted to resubmit a completely different proposal, but I'm not sure that we should even be deferring this. We're talking about a building that a decision was already made upon. And now we're looking to amend an amendment to something that's not even supposed to be existing. There just seems to be a break in logic to me here.
Apologies. May I try to clarify?
Not yet. Not yet. Thank you. And I think that, should we just be voting on this application and then the applicant, if they wanted to resubmit or reattend and discuss either a new variance or a zoning bylaw amendment, that would be another process to take place. And Taylor, I'm just kind of deferring off to your expertise on that.
Yeah, Taylor, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair. You can do either approach and both would be okay per the Planning Act. You could be gracious, give them another chance to revise their proposal, but you're quite correct in your analysis, in my opinion, that this building permit was issued for the new cottage because there was a demolition permit issued for this cottage. It should not be there. In my opinion, just even hearing what was said there, that even reducing the size of it, that doesn't help deal with that main issue, but also the greatly reduced setback is a problem. It's almost half the setback where guest cabins should be. And I think I would disagree with their opinion that in the photos it shows it's not even there. Like I look at the one photo from the lake and it looks like a house in front of a house. Like it looks like stacked development. So I don't think the proposal is too desirable, but if they want to go back to the drawing board and see if it can be relocated elsewhere on the site, that might be something that is worth considering for them.
Greg.
Well, then my question is, should we vote on this application the way it stands now and allow the applicant to then come back and have further discussions with staff relative to a completely separate minor variance application, or quite frankly, I think this falls much closer into a zoning bylaw amendment if it was ever going to be passed than it is a minor variance. I think it's beyond what is considerable for a minor variance in my mind.
Yes, if committee's opinion is that you don't think this should be a minor variance, regardless of what you're hearing up to this very moment, then you could vote on it as is. And just, if it is voted on and if it is refused, they would have to submit a brand new application though. So what deferring does is it just gives the application some life, some time for revision, and it's almost a kindness being extended. But if you have core concerns with the principles of it, it could also be seen as wasting time.
Greg.
If there hadn't been a demolition permit as a condition of the building permit, then I could see giving consideration. But I think, quite frankly, we're wasting time on this, kicking the can down the road. So
may I comment on the demolition permit?
Yeah, just a moment, please, sir.
In my opinion, I support voting on it as it stands now. And if the applicant decides that they want to make a reapplication, then by all means, I'm sure that staff would be willing to work with them.
So my comment is similar. I think even if you were to reduce the size of that older building, it doesn't address the core problem. You had a comment on the demolition permit.
Yes,
Mr.
so I understand that there was a comment on the demolition, or on the building permit, conditionally on the removal of the structure. I was not involved with the process at the time of the building / demolition permit that was issued. I've been brought on after the fact to basically see what I can do to maintain this structure, maintain this guest cabin. So I understand that there was some conditions set on the building / demolition permit. I'd just like to clarify that. One of the first steps I did was when I was brought onto this, I reached out to Curtis. His last name is escaping me. I believe he's the chief building official in Seguin Township, and I did request that we get a permit revision to the existing building permit / demolition permit that had been issued to clarify this matter with the existing structure, and was advised about proceeding with the minor variance application. So we did originally try to make a revision to the existing permit that had been issued and go through that way, but we're directed through the zoning minor variance process. I understand that another application may be required, but if we can revise the current application that's been submitted to reduce the coverage area of the guest cabin and only look at this from a shoreline setback perspective, and to the other gentleman's point about the photo from the shoreline showing the house on top of the house, that photo does show the portion of the existing structure that will be getting removed. So that portion that you can see from the water is the portion that on the proposal is the portion that is being proposed to be demolished.
Okay, listen, I think we've talked around this as much as we need to. Given everything about this, I really would just ask committee to vote on it, and if the outcome is not desirable, then this is just not the right process for this. So I'm going to ask for a mover and seconder to bring this forward to vote. So moved by Greg, seconded by Wibb. So the motion reads that the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2025-0026-M for Roos to permit the conversion of an existing dwelling into an oversized guest cabin requiring the following variances to zoning bylaw 2006-125. Under section 6.3, table 6.2, front yard setback 20 meters is permitted, proposed is 13.1 for a variance of 6.9 meters. And under section 4.1.10, floor area of a guest cabin 60 square meters permitted, 73.92 square meters is proposed for a variance of 13.92 square meters. The conditions read, the extent of the variances will generally conform to that shown on the submitted plans attached to the appendix of the decision. And number 2, that the owner applies for and obtains the required permits to construct the guest cabin within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. I'm going to ask for those in favor of this motion. I see no hands around the table. The motion is defeated, sir.
Thank you.
The application has been denied. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay, thank you for your comments and attending, and we will move on to our last application for today, please, Madam Secretary.
The purpose of minor variance application A-2025-0027C for Frederickson is to permit the expansion of a legal non-complying dwelling requiring a variance to a reduced front yard setback. No formal correspondence was received.
Thank you, Melissa. We have Mr. Frederickson. Do you wish to address the committee, sir?
Just briefly, I don't really have anything to add beyond the positive staff report at this time, but I'm here to accept any questions and or clarifications.
Okay, thank you. Committee members, comments, questions on this application? Wibb, go ahead, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Frederickson. My understanding is that the addition of the screen porch plus the steps down, which I was on site and it is rather steep, is the area that's being that's putting you over the maximum and that's why we're here?
Actually, that's sort of not quite correct. The real reason that pushed the application forward is the second floor addition being the maximum of 46 square meters is 7 feet shy of building the second floor addition the full size of the existing cottage. To comply with the 46 square meters of that table 4.1, I would have to just pull back one of the walls 7 feet. So it's the 7 feet that really pushed it forward. The screen porch that's the area that's pushing it over, that's requiring the minor variance more than the screen porch and stair addition. That actually, if I just did that and no second floor, that would have just complied because it's not over the 46 square meters, which is permissible for that floor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, very good. Mover and seconder, please, to bring this to consideration. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lee. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A-2025-0027-C for Frederickson to permit the expansion of a legal non-complying dwelling subject to a maximum height increase of 2.75 meters and floor area increase of 99.48 square meters from what exists. The following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125 is being requested under section 6.2, table 6.2, minimum front yard setback 20 meters permitted, proposed is 10.76 meters, which is existing, for a variance of 9.24 meters. Subject to the following conditions, the extent of the variances will generally conform to that shown on the submitted plans attached to the appendix of the decision. And number 2, that the owner applies for and obtains the required permits to construct the additions for the dwelling within 3 years of the date of decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? And carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay, thank you, sir. Your application is clear to go. He's gone. On to other business. Anyone have any other business for today's meeting? Okay, no business. Mover and seconder to adjourn then, please. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lee, I think. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin does hereby adjourn this hearing at 3 minutes after 5 o'clock on Wednesday, August the 13th. The committee will hold its next hearing at 4 p.m. Wednesday, September the 10th, 2025, or at the call of the chair, unless the Secretary Treasurer has not received complete applications for committee consideration. All in favor? Carried. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.